Revelation 2913. From the 7th and the 8th of October 1943. Imperishability of Christ's teaching as God's work. Christ's legacy, his teaching of love, will remain as long as the earth exists, even if it is fought against from all sides. God himself brought this teaching to earth through Jesus Christ. He made his will known to people, he let his word reach them through a human being who himself heard the divine voice within himself and who therefore, as mediator between God and people, was able to make the divine will known to them through his teaching, which commanded love for God and for people. God himself was the teacher, for he himself spoke through Jesus, in whose human shell he dwelled in his fullness, and therefore it is not the teaching of a human being but a divine teaching which can never ever be displaced, for God's words are everlasting, they will remain in existence for all eternity. As soon as the battle against Christ's teaching begins, the battle is with God himself, and this can only lead to a defeat of the most serious significance. Not accepting Christ's teaching, not fulfilling his divine commandments, is already so serious for people that they will have to atone for endless times, that they will have to endure an agonizing state in the beyond for eternities. But there is also redemption for these souls. The divine teaching of love can still be brought to them in the beyond. It can change their will and cause them to accept it. Yet the open fight against it on earth is a sin which is directed against God himself, who himself preached the teaching through a person connected to him on earth. It is a disregard for himself, it is a denial of his deity, a rebellion against him, it is a compromise with his adversary and the most severe betrayal of his love. It is the fight against the divine teaching of love which Jesus Christ preached on earth, a total union with the forces of the underworld. It is a devilish beginning which God cannot let go unpunished. God sent his Son to earth in order to convey his word to people, because they were no longer able to hear it themselves and because his word is absolutely necessary. People shall become blissfully happy, they shall find their way back to him from whom they originated. He wanted to bring himself close to people again through his word, he also wanted to impart the strength to them with his word. And for this he used a human shell, a soul, which was enlightened by its greater than great love. He took abode in it and thus was himself in the word in the midst of people. He shared himself with them and preached words of love to them. He taught them through Jesus so that people would not be restricted in their freedom of faith and will. Yet what he imparted to them was his word, the expression of his deepest love and mercy for people. It was the signpost to him, for without his word no one could become blissfully happy. Jesus Christ was the mediator because only a soul which dearly loved God and its neighbor could receive the word from him, and thus he offered himself as mediator because his love for his fellow human beings was exceedingly great and he wanted to help them. Humanity will never be able to undo this act of mercy, and it will never succeed in suppressing Christ's teaching. It can only refuse to accept it and thereby sink into the deepest depth of ruin. For God protects his word, he will keep it pure and time and again take care that people receive it from above unadulterated. If human will has disfigured it and people are in danger of losing their faith as a result, for Christ's teaching cannot be replaced by human teachings. No better one can be set against it. And even less can it be eliminated if the human being wants to reach maturity. The battle, however, will be for the educated teaching of Christ, because the pure truth which was imparted to people from above is inviolable and will hold its ground as long as people live on this earth, in order to then impart the knowledge to people on the new earth again and to inform them again of God's will, of his divine teaching of love and of Christ's act of salvation. If people now try to suppress the divine teaching of love, which thus directly testifies to God, which is his work because it originated from him, they destroy themselves, for fighting against God has to end in complete defeat, in complete ruin. But what is of God remains in existence for eternity. It will be offered again and again in the same form to the people of this earth, because what is of God is also unchangeable, because it is pure truth which can never experience a change. Only human accessories will always be fought against from above. Therefore, where the battle will apply to this, God himself will grant his assistance, and he will bless those who take action against additional human work for the sake of pure truth. But now the time of the end has come when the God-opposing spirits under Satan's rule try to take action against God himself, when therefore everything that is of God and testifies to him shall be eradicated. God's adversary seeks to oust him and spares no means to achieve his goal. But this is the sign of the approaching end, that people will wage the most bitter battle against Christ's teaching of love, that they will deny his deity and thus have to learn to recognize God's power and strength, the power and strength of his teaching of love and the power and strength of faith through their own destruction and the miraculous salvation of those who are permeated by faith in Jesus Christ as God's Son and Redeemer of the world. Amen.